Let's go to Riyadh with its fabulous skylines and gorgeous resorts among all the dunes made of sand. The men and the women especially will show you what they can. For $50 million, we'll show you all that we got planned. I'm Joe Renton with my review of WWE Crown Jewel 2024 from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This is reviewed hours after it ended because I had to work, and that sweet, sweet dollar is more important. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. And yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the terrible rendition of that song. You know what it is. Her name is Rio, and boy, she sure like to spread it all like a grand. Or maybe for a grand. I knew a girl like that. I should call her at some point. Let's talk about this show. Look, there were moments on the show that were pretty good. The crowd was pretty electric for most of the night. And it was nice to have a hot crowd there. I'm not so sure about the setup of this arena. It was the Mohammed Abdo Arena. It was a little bit strange just because of the lighting. I mean, it almost looked Coliseum-like. So, I mean, it's different. I'll say that. Apparently holds around 22,000 people. I don't know how many people they had in that arena. But the crowd was pretty raucous. So, before the show started, Goldberg announced his retirement match will take place next year. Cool. Have it beat Gunther. Have Gunther just beat him flat very quickly. You don't need to do too much. And then you could just have Gunther stand over Bill Goldberg like that. So, Michael Cole had to do the Riyadh tourism video pitch. Culturally significant, gorgeous resorts, fabulous skylines. Look, I've never been there. I got nothing against any of the people there. I get nothing against any of the people there. They're getting paid a shit pot full of money to do this show. And if the fans get to enjoy it, that's great. The men's and women's Crown Jewel championships, they make the AWA title seem small by comparison. So, talent show up to varied reactions. The AI-inspired graphics on the intro is just weird. The crowd is up already. We've got pyro plenty. I mean, good God. Like, they're getting paid a lot of money, so they can go absolutely insane. So, Solo and Co. show up. They said, having someone as dangerous as Tangaloa in your corner, is it dangerous for his opponents or is he a danger to himself? The answer is yes. I don't know what the fuck happened to that guy. Maybe he was just, his, problems were hidden in the team with Tama Tonga. But nevertheless, Roman gets a big pop. OTC chance, big OTC chance. Jimmy comes out with him. And then Jay comes through the crowd. And there we go. A lot of Yee chants. A lot of stuff. They filmed this well. Good stuff. Good footage. And it was the OG Bloodline. I feel so stupid saying that against the new Bloodline. It's like new Coke. And if you try to bring Coke in this goddamn country, I imagine it probably wouldn't go too well. You probably shouldn't sneak drugs into a foreign country. What is wrong with you, nameless person I just created in this scenario? So it's Roman and the Usos against Solo, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. Oh dear. 18 minutes into this nearly 3-hour show, the bell rings. Yeah, I think like half the goddamn show was in ring action. Maybe. I apologize, by the way, if my voice sounds a little bit rough. I had a head cold. I'm way better now, don't get me wrong. But still some of the after effects. Don't worry, powering through. So, there's division among the faces. This would factor into the finish, obviously, as it should have. Given the fact that they're really trying to build to War Games, and it makes sense for the heels to get the victory here. The Usos, look, it was nice to see them team up again, I'll say that much. After that abysmal Jim Uso and Jey Uso match at Mania 40, don't ever do that again. The crowd was insane. Jacob Fatu should not be as good as he is. And I mean, I met him about 5.5 years ago. Super nice guy. I'm so happy he's in WWE. But good God, he is so fucking skilled. It was more about the story. They did have Roman and Solo face off at one point. Roman and Reigns and Solo unloading the heavy artillery here. Not touching that. We do get some riffs and everything. We get a botched 3-count stoppage after a spike. They really had to cut away from it because one of the Usos was almost late. We get a ref bump. Jacob stops Reigns and ends up hitting that moonsault just perfectly. I don't know how he doesn't. I mean, he's a professional, but I'm just saying he can move that weight. Even though he's cut some weight, he can move that weight so goddamn well. So The Usos disappeared. The Usos were just done. Absolutely toast. I mean, they were just graveyard dead just temporarily. But Solo ends up hitting a couple spikes on Roman, gets the victory. So Jacob Fatu does the big damage. Solo picks up the pieces. Picks up the pieces. And there you go. So Solo pinning Roman makes sense given what they're going with. I'm, quite frankly, a little bit sick of the bloodline. I think it's stale. My opinion. But I understand why they went with this result. Post-match attack, the Usos try to help, and then Sami chants happen. And Sami Zayn shows up, and he feigns joining Solo, and then hits him with an exploder. And we get a big old fracas. And then it looks like we're going to have a meet in the middle where Solo's going to get hit, but no. Sami ends up accidentally kicking Roman with Solo ducks. Building the tension. They got to wrap this shit up quick, though, because they got, 4 weeks? You got to pack this TV quickly. So, that being said, though, it was fine for what it was. This is the storyline that never ends. It will go on and on, my friends. And then, yeah, we get Damage Control, Kyrie and EO. Good God, I wish I was at top rope under EO. I don't have issues. You have issues. And Piper and Chelsea Green. That's all you're going to get. Once again, don't knock Samantha Irvin because she wanted to leave. Don't blame her one bit. If she wasn't happy, that's cool. So, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Did Jakara cut her hair, or has her hair been like that for a bit? Against Bianca and Jade, the champs. It's a 4-way women's tag title match, and, well, they tried. They did spots. The referee lost all control. You want to step in here, ref? What is wrong with you? The referee just gave up. I mean, granted, it happens in AEW, also in New Japan refs. I mean, you can practically shoot somebody outside the ring. Wouldn't recommend doing that. And as long as it's outside the ring, it's okay. I don't know why Lash's hair is sort of reminding me of like Tina Turner and Mad Max. I've expected her to say, this is Metaphor Dome. Metaphor is a stupid group, by the way. It's a really stupid group. And they need to stop that shit. Not saying get rid of anybody. Just stop them. But it was a mess. An absolute mess. So basically, Piper got pinned. It was what it was. I know it sounds kind of mean. Nothing against the women. I mean, I'm glad they were able to go out there and do what they do, but there are women that can do better than this. Like in this match, I mean. It was a good way to hide Lash and, Jakara and Jade's inexperience, but still. More tourism stuff. Speaking of which, I'm going to talk about the releases really quickly. Baron Corbin's been with WWE for 12-something years. They weren't going to do anything with him. I don't know where the hell he's going to go. He'd go to Impact. He'd go to AEW. He'd go to New Japan. New Japan needs bodies on their U.S. brand, honestly. And I'm not the biggest fan of Baron Corbin. I was initially. I don't hate him, and I certainly am not happy that he got released because it's affecting his pay and everything, and it's affecting his earnings. I'm not wishing that. But after a personal name where he decided to attack a friend of mine and be all, dickish or whatever, yeah, I mean, that the man himself can go fuck himself. As far as the person, or as far as the performer, I wish him nothing but the best. But maybe. Nevertheless, let's just talk about Indy Hartwell. I'm a bit surprised by this. They weren't using her all that well, but I would have thought they would have featured Indy better. Maybe Indy and Stephanie Lander can recap, or reunite, I mean. Problem is, I think she has neck surgery, so I don't know how soon that's going to happen. And Tegan Nox. Hands up if you forgot that Tegan Nox was even part of the company. I mean, nothing against her. Just it's whatever. I wish her nothing but the best. Go to Impact, maybe be part of the Knockouts division, and keep your knees attached, and you'll be okay. So, the crowd chants for Seth Rollins, burn it down. Not touching that. Rollins, and here comes Bronson. They brawl before the bell, they brawl the stage, they brawl around the ring, and then, oh, look, before the bell rings, and it's lazy. I'm sorry, it's lazy. Now, Seth had his back hurt, apparently, was taken to a local medical facility for a bruised back and anal bleeding. What? Wow. But he does the stomp for two. He does cool stuff like Seth does, but the problem is I'm kind of over Seth. And also, Seth keeps coming back way too soon. Seth needs a lot of time off. After WrestleMania, he needs to take off time till SummerSlam. Like, I'm serious. Because I can tell he's hurting. Now, bless him. But I don't think the team's in need. I think he can preserve his long-term health. Riyadh dominates for a bit. We get a frog splash for 1. A sit-out bomb by Here Comes Bronson for 2. Giant superplex. That got a good pop. And then he tries to do the steps thing. Gets tripped. Hits his head into the steps. Stomp on the steps. Stomp inside. And in a super stomp like he has a Karubo shoe on. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming, Bronson. If you weren't going to have Bronson get the victory here, why did you have him injure Seth or hurt Seth more? Like on Raw. Don't do that, and maybe build it where Bronson gets a victory down the road or something. Or just have him win here, and it can be like, okay, he hurt Seth, and it would have made more sense. I'm sorry, I didn't like this. I didn't really think that it was... I didn't mind the action, but I thought it was a wrong result. I thought Here Comes Bronson should have gotten the victory. So, the LA Dodgers got their custom championships. Good for them. 3,273 embedded stones. 50 carats of diamonds. Ooh, blood diamond. 250 total carat weight. The emeralds are Australian crystals. Cool. So, Rhea's out with some sort of orbital injury. That's why they did an injury angle on NXT. She can't catch a break. Actually, it sounds like that's all she can. That's mean. I hope that Rhea's going to be all right. But first she had that shoulder injury. Now she has this. Maybe I don't know if she's going to be back by the Rumble. They might have her have a face guard. I don't know. I don't know the extent of the injury. So Liv and Nia had a match for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Look, I got nothing against Liv. Liv has worked hard. Liv has made me eat crow about the fact when I first saw her, I thought she was just a bottle blonde who was going to fade out. I'm so thrilled for her success. I mean that with the utmost respect. I don't give a shit about Nia. I haven't forgotten a bunch of the bullshit and conspiracy theories that she spewed. And if I'm going to knock other wrestlers for it, I'm going to knock her for it. Nia was klutzy. She can't move. She can't wrestle. They had to have a lot of shenanigans. They had Tiffy, whatever, plan or, tease a potential cash in. Then you have Raquel, you had Dominic, you had all this stuff going on, and God. It ended up with a crucifix roll-up, 1, 2, 3, so Liv at least got the victory, so that's good. It was what it was. It was actually Oblivion, but you get my point. I'm so frustrated just because if this had been Liv against Tiffany, it would have been so much better. I'm sorry. God damn it. Just put Liv against opponents that don't suck. That aren't fucking goddamn embarrassments. Anyways, Owens and Orton just brawled. They just brawled around the goddamn ring after 6 minutes of entrances. Daivari got laid out. Pierce took an RKO and both GMs got in there. They went into the crowd and then Owens hit an elbow onto a bunch of cases. And yeah. So that was, you flew them over for an angle match. Whatever, they're making so much money, it is what it is, but I don't know. I hope that Owens just does what he wants to do. If he's re-signed with WWE, great. If he goes I don't know. I don't know what's going on. None of my business. I just want him to be happy. But I'm happy that Orton is still able to wrestle, but I gotta be perfectly honest, I don't really, I'm just about this feud. LA Knight is mega over, and he beat Andrade El Idolo and Carmelo Hayes. It's him, girls, to retain the U.S. Championship. They had moves. This could have been a TV match. Big pop for Cody. Cody and Gunther had their Crown Jewel Men's Championship match. Gunther is tremendous. Cody is over. Cody's in danger of turning off some fans because he's becoming... None of his feuds have really meant much of anything. He's not a bad worker, but I'm sorry. The chase was all of it. Now he's a champion. Tell me that the reign's been really good. I'm not saying it sucked, but tell me it's been good. And point to examples. I want to hear them. So the heavy chops, he worked on the back, Gunther did, and there were hope spots. We got, we got a nice, nice like slam, and then delayed plex. That was cool. Superplex to a pop, a Cody cutter for 2. The sleeper got locked on for a bit, and then fought out, and then a crossroads, but no cover. And then we got some more stuff. We got a Boston Crab spot. Gunther was fighting and keeping him down. Crossroads for 2. We get another sleeper. And then we get a roll up out of that because Cody tries to go for the cutter. Gunther gets a sleeper on, but Cody rolls through. They do the Kyrie Sane, Shayna Baszler finish and other stuff that we've seen before. 1, 2, 3. Cody wins. And that's really about it right there. It was a show. It wasn't a bad show. I didn't hate it. But I got to be perfectly honest. Starting next year, guys, I'm going to pick and choose some of these events because there's only so many hours in a day, years left in my life, and getting burned out on some wrestling in case you can't tell. That being said, it was what it was. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Wentland. I'll see you soon.